My hands are shaking so violently I can barely hold my phone. The screen glows with my own face staring back at me, but those aren't my words. Those aren't my posts. That sick, twisted smile in the video isn't mine. Disabled clients are just charity cases for virtue signaling lawyers. The timestamp shows 11:47 p.m. last night. I was asleep at 11:47 p.m. But there I am, clear as day, saying words that make my stomach turn inside out. My supervisor's voice cuts through the ringing in my ears. Valentina, after this post about our clients, we simply cannot. I never said that. My voice cracks like I'm 13 again. Mr. Morrison, I swear on my life, I never posted any of this. But he's already sliding the termination papers across his mahogany desk. 3 years of perfect grades. A full scholarship. My dream internship at the city's most prestigious law firm. Everything I've worked for since I was 8 years old, watching legal dramas and promising myself I'd fight for justice. Gone. In one night. Because of posts I never made. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead like angry wasps. The smell of his coffee makes me nauseous. My throat burns with unshed tears, but I won't cry. Not here. Not in front of him. The posts came from your verified accounts, with your face, your voice, he says, not even looking at me anymore. Security footage shows you leaving the building at 6 p.m. yesterday. These posts went live hours after you left. Hours after I left. But someone else had access to everything. Someone who knew all my passwords, all my accounts, someone who looked exactly like me. Someone who had been sleeping in the room next to mine for 22 years. My sister's voice echoes in my memory from this morning. Good luck at work today, Val. I hope everything goes perfectly. That smile. That same sick, twisted smile from the video. But I had no idea that this was only the beginning of what she had planned for me. 6 months ago, my biggest worry was whether I'd remembered to water the succulents on my windowsill. I'd wake up at 5:30 a.m. every day, brew my coffee in the little French press Celeste gave me for my birthday, and spend an hour reviewing case files before heading to Morrison & Associates. Life felt like a perfectly choreographed dance. I had my routine, my goals, my future mapped out in neat little boxes. Graduate summa cum laude, check. Land the internship everyone said was impossible to get, check. Make mom and dad proud after years of them worrying about our family's financial struggles, finally, check. Celeste and I shared everything back then. She'd curl up on my bed every night, painting her nails while I studied, asking about my cases like they were the most fascinating stories in the world. Tell me about the divorce case, she'd say, eyes wide with interest. Did the wife really hide assets in offshore accounts? I loved those moments. Just us sisters, no judgment, no competition. She'd braid my hair before important meetings, pick out my outfits, even helped me practice my presentations. You're going to change the world, Val, she'd whisper, and I believed her. Our parents worked double shifts at the factory to keep us afloat after Dad's injury left him with chronic pain and reduced hours. Every scholarship dollar I earned, every praise from my professors, every small victory at the firm, it felt like I was lifting our entire family out of the cycle of struggle we'd been trapped in for years. Mom would call me during her lunch breaks, voice thick with pride, Mija, Mrs. Garcia's daughter saw you on the firm's website. She said you looked so professional, so important. Those calls made the 18-hour study days worth it. The apartment Celeste and I shared was tiny but perfect. Plants everywhere because she insisted they made the space feel alive. Fairy lights strung across the ceiling because I was still a kid at heart. Our laptops side by side on the kitchen table where we'd work, me on legal briefs, her on her endless job applications and creative projects that never quite went anywhere. I never questioned why she hadn't found her path yet. Everyone blooms at different times, right? I'd gotten the academic gifts, but Celeste had the social intelligence, the charm that made strangers feel like old friends within minutes. Your time will come, I'd tell her whenever she got another rejection letter. We're both going to make it. She'd smile and nod, but sometimes I caught her staring at my law books with an expression I couldn't quite read. When I'd look up from my laptop, working on some case that excited me so much I couldn't sleep, she'd quickly look away, suddenly busy with her phone or her nails or anything except meeting my eyes. But those moments passed so quickly. She'd bounce back with a joke or a hug, and I'd forget the strange tension I thought I'd seen. We had our passwords shared in a little notebook by the door, Sister Emergency Access, we called it, laughing like it was the most normal thing in the world. If one of us got locked out of an account, if we needed to check each other's calendars, if we wanted to post something cute on each other's social media for birthdays. Complete trust. Complete transparency. We don't keep secrets, Celeste would always say, and I believed that with my whole heart. The morning everything changed, she made me breakfast. Scrambled eggs with cheese, exactly how I liked them. She was humming while she cooked, dancing a little to the music playing from her phone. The kitchen smelled like vanilla candles and hope. Big presentation today, she asked, sliding the plate toward me. The biggest, I said, practically bouncing with excitement. If this goes well, Mr. Morrison said he might recommend me for the Junior Associate Fast Track program. Her smile was radiant. Proud. Perfect. I'm so excited for you, Val. You deserve everything good that's coming your way. I hugged her tight, breathing in her familiar perfume, feeling so grateful for this life we'd built together. My sister, my best friend, my biggest cheerleader. I had no idea she'd already been destroying me for weeks. I caught her red-handed at 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'd been lying awake, obsessing over another humiliating day at work where colleagues avoided eye contact and my supervisor's disappointment felt like a physical weight on my chest. Something was systematically destroying my reputation, and I couldn't figure out what. The soft glow of a screen from the living room made me creep out of bed. Maybe Celeste couldn't sleep either. Maybe we could talk about this nightmare that was consuming my life. But when I reached the doorway, my blood turned to ice water. She sat cross-legged on our couch, my laptop open in front of her, her phone recording a video of herself. She was wearing my favorite blazer, the navy one I'd worn to my first day at Morrison & Associates. Her hair was styled exactly like mine. She'd even put on my glasses, the ones I only wore when my contacts bothered me. Hey everyone, she said into the camera, mimicking my voice perfectly. Valentina here with another hot take. You know what I realized today? Poor people who can't afford good lawyers probably deserve whatever happens to them in court. My knees buckled. I grabbed the doorframe to keep from falling. She was creating another post. Another video designed to destroy everything I'd worked for. And she looked exactly like me. After all, she continued, that sick smile spreading across her face, natural selection applies to the legal system too, right? The words hit me like physical blows. Each sentence was a calculated missile aimed at my career, my values, everything I believed in. This wasn't some random hacker. This was surgical. Personal. Cruel. She hadn't noticed me yet. I watched in frozen horror as she uploaded the video to my TikTok account, then immediately switched to Instagram to cross-post it there. Her fingers moved with practiced efficiency across my social media accounts like she'd done this 100 times before. Celeste. My voice came out as barely a whisper. She spun around, laptop still open, my account still logged in, the evidence of her betrayal glowing between us like a neon confession. For one heartbeat, I expected her to look guilty. Shocked. Maybe scrambled to explain this as some kind of misunderstanding. Instead, she smiled. That same cold, calculating expression I'd been catching glimpses of for months. Oh good, you're awake, she said casually, like she'd been caught making late-night tea instead of destroying my entire future. I was wondering when you'd finally figure it out. My chest tightened until I couldn't breathe. How long? The words scraped my throat raw. How long what? She closed my laptop with deliberate slowness, like she had all the time in the world to break my heart. How long have you been doing this to me? Her laugh was soft and sharp as a blade. Since the day you got that internship. Since the day everyone started treating you like you were special and I was just Celeste. The sister who couldn't get her life together. The room spun. 22 years of shared secrets, braided hair, midnight conversations, mutual support, all of it had been a lie. My best friend, my protector, my other half had been systematically destroying me for months. But why? My voice broke completely. I would never hurt you like this. Because I'm tired of being the failure. Her eyes glittered with something I'd never seen before. Pure, concentrated resentment. I'm tired of mom and dad asking when I'll be more like you. I'm tired of watching you succeed while I can't even get a call back from retail jobs. She stood up, still wearing my blazer, still looking like a twisted mirror image of myself. If I can't have success, Valentina, then neither can you. My world didn't just crack. It shattered into a million pieces that cut me from the inside out. My sister, my best friend, had declared war on my entire existence. And she'd been winning for months. I didn't sleep for 3 days after catching her. The termination meeting with Mr. Morrison felt like an out-of-body experience. I sat in his office, nodding numbly as he explained that my recent social media behavior had made me a liability to the firm. The words bounced off me like rain on glass. Inside, I was screaming, but my voice had disappeared completely. We're sorry it has to end this way, Valentina. You showed such promise. Showed. Past tense. Everything I'd built, gone. I cleaned out my desk in 15 minutes. My colleagues pretended to be busy, stealing glances when they thought I wasn't looking. Sarah from accounting actually crossed to the other side of the hallway to avoid me. 3 months ago, we'd shared lunch and laughed about terrible dating stories. Now I was radioactive. The law school called 2 hours later. Miss Rodriguez, we need to discuss your scholarship status given the recent developments. I hung up without saying a word. Celeste was in the kitchen when I got home, humming while she made herself a sandwich. Like she hadn't just murdered my entire future the night before. How was work? She asked, not even looking up from spreading peanut butter. I stared at her, searching for any crack in her casual performance. Any hint of the sister who used to braid my hair and promise we'd conquer the world together. Nothing. Just a stranger wearing my sister's face. I locked myself in my room and didn't come out for 4 days. The crying started in waves. First, silent tears that I could wipe away and pretend hadn't happened. Then ugly, choking sobs that left my throat raw and my eyes swollen shut. Finally, the kind of breakdown where you curl up on the bathroom floor and wail until your ribs ache. Mom called 6 times. I let it go to voicemail. Mija, Celeste says you're sick. Do you need me to bring soup? Call me back. Dad texted, your mother is worried. Please just let us know you're okay. But I wasn't okay. I wasn't even close to okay. I was drowning in my own bedroom while my destroyer made herself at home in our shared space. Through my door, I could hear her normal life continuing. Netflix playing at reasonable volumes. Phone calls with friends where she laughed at appropriate intervals. The sound of her making dinner, washing dishes, living peacefully in the ruins of my existence. Sometimes she knocked. Val? I brought you some tea. Her voice dripped with fake concern that made my skin crawl. I'm really worried about you. This isn't healthy. Maybe we should call Mom? Each offer of help was another twist of the knife. She was playing the role of concerned sister while systematically checking that her victim was properly destroyed. On the 4th night, I heard her on the phone in the living room. She's really taking this hard, she said to someone. I think losing the job was a bigger blow than anyone expected. She won't even talk to me. A pause. No, I think she needs space. You know how prideful she can be. Prideful. Like my complete devastation was a character flaw instead of the natural response to being betrayed by the person I trusted most in the world. But something shifted in me as I listened to her performance. A tiny spark of rage flickered to life beneath the grief. She thought I was broken. Finished. Too shattered to fight back. She thought wrong. I opened my laptop for the first time in days and stared at the screen. My hands were still shaking, but my mind was starting to clear. She'd been playing a long game, using my trust against me, systematically destroying everything I cared about. But she'd made one crucial mistake. She'd underestimated exactly how much I had left to lose. And how far I'd go to get it back. This wasn't over. This was just the beginning. I was going to destroy her right back. The transformation happened while I was staring at my reflection in the bathroom mirror at 3 a.m. Mascara streaked down my cheeks like war paint. I'd been crying for 6 days straight. 6 days of letting her win. 6 days of being exactly the broken victim she wanted me to be. But as I looked at my swollen eyes and hollow cheeks, something cold and calculating clicked into place behind my ribs. The grief was still there, sharp as broken glass, but it was crystallizing into something harder. Something dangerous. She thought she was clever. She thought she destroyed me completely. She had no idea who she was dealing with. I spent the next 3 days in complete silence, but not the silence of defeat. The silence of a predator learning to hunt. I started small, documenting everything with the methodical precision that had made me top of my class. First, I installed hidden camera apps on my laptop and phone, tiny programs that would record whenever someone accessed them. If Celeste was going to keep playing her games, I was going to capture every second. Then I started acting. Not the raw, authentic grief that had consumed me for days, but a calculated performance of continued breakdown. I shuffled around the apartment in pajamas, left tissues dramatically scattered around my room, and made sure my voice cracked whenever she tried to comfort me. I just don't understand how this happened, I whispered to her one evening, letting real tears fall. Everything was going so perfectly. She rubbed my back with fake sisterly concern. Sometimes life just hits us when we least expect it, Val. But you'll bounce back. You always do. The audacity of her comfort made my teeth ache, but I just nodded and leaned into her shoulder like a wounded animal seeking shelter from its predator. While she thought I was wallowing, I was researching. Cybercrime laws. Identity theft penalties. Digital forensics. Every case study of online harassment and impersonation I could find. I was building a legal arsenal with the same intensity I'd once applied to corporate law. I changed all my passwords but made sure she could watch me type fake ones. I created decoy accounts that she could access while secretly documenting every intrusion. I even left my private journal open on my desk, filled with fake entries about job applications and vulnerable confessions about my shattered confidence. She ate it up. I'd catch her reading my staged entries, satisfaction flickering across her face when she thought I wasn't looking. But the most beautiful part of my plan was giving her exactly what she craved, another opportunity to destroy me. I started talking about Elizabeth Hartwell's firm. How they were Morrison's biggest competitor. How landing a position there would be the ultimate comeback story. I made sure Celeste overheard my private phone calls about interview strategies and how desperately I needed this second chance. Her eyes lit up like Christmas morning. That sounds amazing, Val, she said, voice dripping with false encouragement. I really hope it works out for you. Of course she did. Because she was already planning how to sabotage it. I could practically see the gears turning in her head, calculating the most devastating way to destroy this new opportunity. She thought she was still 3 steps ahead, still pulling the strings of my destruction. But this time, I was the puppet master. I had learned to play her game better than she ever could. While she focused on tearing me down, I was building an unshakable foundation for her complete annihilation. She wanted to destroy my future? Fine. I was going to obliterate her entire existence. And the most beautiful part? She was going to hand me the evidence herself. The first real victory came on a Tuesday morning when I watched her take my bait perfectly. I'd spent 2 weeks carefully constructing the trap, leaving my fake journal entries about the Hartwell and Partners interview scattered around like breadcrumbs. This morning, I pretended to take a shower while secretly watching her through the hidden camera I'd installed in my laptop. She crept into my room the second she heard the water running. Her fingers flew across my keyboard with practiced efficiency, accessing what she thought were my real social media accounts. I watched her craft a post that made my stomach turn, a racist joke about Hartwell's diverse partnership, tagged with the firm's official handle. But she was posting to accounts I'd already locked her out of days ago. Every keystroke was being recorded on servers she didn't even know existed. Every malicious word was being documented in real time. She had no idea she was performing her own destruction. When she heard the shower turn off, she scattered back to the living room and pretended to be watching Netflix. I emerged from the bathroom, towel wrapped around my head, playing the part of the broken sister she expected to see. "Morning," I said softly, voice still carrying that defeated tremor I'd perfected. "Morning, baby sister." She smiled that poisonous smile. "How are you feeling about your interview today?" My interview. Right. The interview she thought she'd just sabotaged with posts that would never see the light of day. Nervous, I admitted, letting my voice crack. But hopeful. This feels like my last real chance. She nodded with fake sympathy, probably imagining my devastation when Hartwell's team saw the posts she'd just created. But here's what she didn't know. I'd already met with Elizabeth Hartwell 3 days ago. I'd shown her everything, months of evidence, recorded conversations, digital forensics that would make a cybercrime detective weep with joy. We'd planned this entire setup together. The real interview wasn't happening today. Today was just theater. Still, as I watched Celeste sip her coffee and scroll through her phone like she hadn't just attempted to destroy my life again, a dark whisper crept through my thoughts. Was I becoming like her? The calculation, the manipulation, the way I could lie to her face while documenting her every betrayal, it felt too natural. Too easy. When had I learned to smile while planning someone's downfall? But then I remembered the sound of her voice that night, casual and cruel. "If I can't have success, then neither can you." She'd made this choice. She'd declared war on my entire existence while I slept in the room next door, trusting her with my whole heart. I wasn't becoming her. I was becoming something she could never be, someone who fought back. By noon, she'd attempted to sabotage 3 more of my accounts, sent anonymous emails to Hartwell's HR department claiming I'd cheated in law school, and even called the State Bar Association with fake ethics complaints. Every single action was recorded. Every malicious word was documented. Every crime was captured in high definition. She thought she was dismantling my future piece by piece. Instead, she was building her own prison brick by brick. That evening, she made us dinner, pasta with that smile that no longer fooled me for even a second. "So how did the interview go?" she asked, voice dripping with fake concern. I looked her straight in the eyes, my broken sister mask perfectly in place. It went exactly as planned. She had no idea that tomorrow, everything would change. But I did. And I could barely contain my anticipation. The moment arrived at exactly 2:17 p.m. on a Friday. I called Celeste into the living room where our parents sat on the couch, visiting for what they thought was a casual weekend. Mom had brought her famous empanadas. Dad was complaining about his back. Normal family chaos. Perfect witnesses for what was about to unfold. "Celeste, I need to show you something," I said, setting my laptop on the coffee table. Her face was pure innocence. "What's up, Val?" I clicked play on the first video. Her own face filled the screen, wearing my blazer, sitting on our couch at 2 a.m., creating posts designed to destroy my career. The color drained from her cheeks like water from a broken dam. "What is this?" Mom whispered. The second video played automatically. Celeste accessing my accounts. Deleting my real posts. Uploading content that made me look unprofessional, unstable, unemployable. "Valentina, I can explain," Celeste started. "Explain this?" I clicked to the next clip. Her voice, clear as crystal, "If I can't have success, then neither can you." Dad's face went white. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. 3 months of evidence, I said calmly. Identity theft. Cybercrime. Harassment. Defamation. Should I continue? Celeste's mask was cracking, desperation bleeding through. "You don't understand. She always got everything. The grades, the scholarships, the job. You just destroyed your sister's life because you were jealous?" Dad's voice was ice. "No, you don't get it." She was unraveling now, tears streaming. Everyone always loved her more. Perfect Valentina who could do no wrong while I couldn't even. "So you decided to become a criminal?" Mom stood up, disgust written across every line of her face. But I wasn't done. My laptop screen lit up with a video call. Elizabeth Hartwell's face appeared, professional and stern. "Ms. Rodriguez," she said, addressing me directly. "I've been watching this entire confrontation as we discussed." Celeste's eyes went wide with horror. "The position at Hartwell and Partners is yours," Elizabeth continued. "Along with our full legal scholarship program. We'll also be pressing charges for defamation against our firm's reputation." "This was all planned?" Celeste's voice cracked completely. "Every second," I said. "You see, while you thought you were destroying me, I was building a case. Every crime you committed, every malicious act, every moment of betrayal, documented and legally admissible." The room was dead silent except for Celeste's ragged breathing. "The police are outside," I continued. "Cybercrime Division. They have warrants for your devices and enough evidence to put you away for years." A knock at the door. "Right on schedule." Mom looked at Celeste like she was seeing a stranger. "How could you do this to your own sister?" But I was already walking toward the door, my head held high for the first time in months. "Goodbye, Celeste," I said without turning around. "Thank you for teaching me exactly who I never want to become." The power had shifted completely. And it felt like justice. The news spread through our small community like wildfire. Within hours of Celeste's arrest, everyone knew. The girl who'd charmed her way through high school, who could make strangers feel like lifelong friends within minutes, was now the cautionary tale parents would whisper about for years. Mom called me 3 days later, her voice hollow with grief. "She's been denied bail. The judge said she's a flight risk because of the sophisticated nature of the crimes." I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not sadness, just a strange, empty peace. "The lawyer says she's looking at 2 to 5 years, Mom continued. Plus restitution that could take decades to pay off. Our parents had cut all financial support immediately. The college fund they'd been building for Celeste's eventual return to school was redirected to help with my law school expenses. Their disappointment wasn't just about the crimes, it was about the systematic cruelty, the months of watching me suffer while she played the concerned sister. Dad visited me at my new apartment near Hartwell and Partners. He sat at my kitchen table, hands wrapped around a coffee mug, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "I keep thinking we missed something," he said quietly. Some sign that she was capable of this. But I'd been thinking about it differently. I thought betrayal had broken me, shattered me into pieces so small they could never be reassembled. But sitting in my new office at Hartwell, working on cases that actually mattered, I realized something profound. Betrayal hadn't broken me. It had rebuilt me stronger. 3 months later, I was thriving in ways I'd never imagined possible. Elizabeth Hartwell had assigned me to the firm's new cybercrime division, a department created specifically because of my case. Every day, I helped victims of online harassment, identity theft, digital stalking. Every case I won felt like vindication not just for me, but for everyone who'd ever been betrayed by someone they trusted. My first major victory was against a man who'd been catfishing vulnerable women for financial gain. As I presented evidence that mirrored my own documentation techniques, I felt Celeste's ghost in every keystroke, every screenshot, every recorded conversation. She'd taught me to be methodical, ruthless, strategic. She'd given me the perfect training for this career without ever meaning to. The law school not only reinstated me but offered me a full scholarship and a formal apology. My professors treated me with a new kind of respect, not just for my academic abilities, but for my resilience. Morrison and Associates called twice, practically begging me to return, offering salary increases I would have killed for 6 months ago. I declined. I had found my calling in the wreckage of her betrayal. Sometimes, late at night in my new apartment, I'd think about the sister I thought I knew. The one who braided my hair and promised we'd conquer the world together. That girl had never existed. She'd been a carefully constructed mask hiding someone consumed by resentment so deep it had poisoned everything she touched. But her destruction had become my foundation. Every victim I helped, every cybercriminal I prosecuted, every case I won, it was all built on the ruins of what she'd tried to take from me. She'd thought she was stealing my future. Instead, she'd given me a purpose more powerful than anything I could have imagined. The irony was perfect, and I was finally ready to embrace it completely. My hands are steady now as I hold my phone. The screen glows with my own face staring back at me, but these are my words. My posts. My truth. Justice isn't always loud, I say into the camera. Sometimes it's patient. Sometimes it builds itself from the ruins of betrayal. 6 months ago, I sat in this same spot, trembling with devastation as my world collapsed. Today, I'm recording a video for other victims, people whose sisters, brothers, friends have turned their trust into weapons. The timestamp shows 11:47 p.m. The same time Celeste used to create her poison. But now this hour belongs to me, to the work that matters, to the life she accidentally gave me by trying to destroy it. Behind me, law books line the shelves of my new office. Case files cover my desk, each one a story of someone fighting back against digital betrayal. Tomorrow, I'll argue my 15th cybercrime case. Next week, I'm keynoting a conference on identity theft prevention. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number, watching your interview on Channel 7. You saved my daughter from her ex's revenge porn scheme. Thank you for giving us hope. I smile, not the broken smile of a victim, but the quiet confidence of someone who found her purpose in the ashes of betrayal. Last week, Celeste called from prison. She wanted to apologize, to make amends. I listened to her voicemail once, then deleted it without response. Some betrayals are too perfect to forgive. Because she didn't just destroy my trust, she destroyed the naive girl who believed family meant safety. In her place, she created someone unstoppable. I end the recording and lean back in my chair. Through my office window, the city sparkles with possibility. She thought she was writing my ending. Instead, she wrote my beginning. And every case I win, every victim I help, every cybercriminal I prosecute, that's the real revenge. That's justice served cold. Sometimes the best gift comes wrapped in betrayal. Sometimes your destroyer becomes your greatest teacher. And sometimes, getting broken open is exactly what you need to discover who you were always meant to become. The girl who trusted everyone is gone. In her place stands a woman who trusts herself. And that makes all the difference.